Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. And I was working on this button and I thought I want to make this button responsive. So I want to create this button only once and reuse it again and again. But this button is a little more difficult than other buttons we have seen earlier in this series. So here how it's working. So I have this design over here. You see these two buttons are pretty identical, only two differences. Well, it's shorter and it's longer and it has extra text over here. So this button actually takes text or images, and this one also should take text and images, but sometimes over here we are not passing the text, just the image, like the icon over here. Okay, but here we are passing text and icon or image at the same time. But we want to create one button and able to use it everywhere, wherever we want, and make it responsive. So based on content, it should grow and shrink like that. Okay, now I created this Dart file over here, responsive buttons, which is this one. And if you want to take a look at this, just go ahead and like this. Okay, so here I have this color property and things like that. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So this one takes two parameters from the color function over here. Okay, so responsive and width. So this is for controlling whether I want to be responsive or not, which also means that whether I'm passing text or not, or just the image. Okay, so if it's responsive, if it's true, as you can see from here, if it's true, then we'll show this text. Otherwise, we'll have an empty container, and the image, asset image, is always there. Okay, now what we could do, we could go ahead and set it false. Okay, now what we'll see. Okay, well, now the text is gone, but the button is not responsive. Well, I want it to be like this. I want it to be like this. Whenever I don't pass anything, I mean any text, or if I set the flag responsive to false, I want it to shrink, not to take all the available space. But now it is taking all the available space. That's because of this one. Okay, if you really don't know why I'm using it here, you can check out the earlier tutorial. Anyway, so now here, because of this one, it's taking all this available space. Okay, but if you remove that one, now we'll have other problems. So we don't want to remove this. So how to work on this issue? Well, the first thing is that, as you see, we can also pass a width to it, right? So now let's pass a width to it. So over here, come to this file and we'll pass a width, say 150. Okay. So now what will happen, it's responsive is false, so it will not show the text, and it will take the available space over here because we are passing the width. So width equals width. Okay, all right, now let's run it. Now it becomes smaller, and well, it's not centered yet, but we'll take care of this. Okay, now here what we can do, we can come over here and check this flag. Okay, so if it's responsive, then we are doing space between. Okay, otherwise we want to set it to center, so we do main axis alignment dot center. Okay, so if it's true, which means we have text, okay, then it's space between left and right, otherwise we'll just put it in the center. So now let's see, now it's centered. Okay, yes, well, that's fine. Now it's taking all this space over here. Okay, whatever the space I'm sending. But now if we set the flag to true, now let's see what happens. Okay, now we have this overflow issue, because if it's true, it's trying to show the text as well as this image. Now the width, this constraint is over here, because it's still trying to use this constraint, not this one. So we also want to override based on this flag. Okay, so we'll copy from here and put it. If it's responsive, then what do we want? We want to use a different kind of width, which is called double.max infinite. So which would be pretty much like this one, and it would ignore this one. Okay, it means that, okay, I'm here to take all this space anyway, because if it would be true, it is true, then it would fall to this condition, otherwise that condition. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, perfect. All right, now our button is truly responsive. I can prove it one more time. Why? So here you come over here, set this flag to false. Okay, It's not responsive. I mean, it is responsive, but you see, it shrinked automatically. It became like this. And now you set it. So in this case, what's happening? Even it is false, right? So it's false. So it's ignoring this condition over here, this condition over here, and it's ignoring this condition over here, right? So if I set it to true, then it will take all the available space. And at the same time, if it's true, it's taking all the available space. Now if we set it to false, okay, which means that I just want to take it this image, okay? Yeah, so in that case it'll take this width, right? Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, now if it's true, what will happen? You can ignore this width. It doesn't matter anyway. It'll take all this space. Okay, so this is the flag, and the width together controls whether it should be responsive or not. Okay, hopefully it makes sense.